13 animals call this stretch of Amazon rainforest home. And by the time this list is over, you'll understand why local guides won't go near half of them before dark. Some of these creatures kill with speed, some kill with patience, some don't kill often at all. But when they do, there is rarely time to react, and one of them, by the actual numbers researchers track, kills more people every single year than every other animal on this list combined. And it isn't even the one you are picturing right now. The Amazon basin stretches across roughly 2.5 million square miles of dense, largely unmapped wilderness, spanning 9 countries and holding an estimated 10% of all known species on Earth within a single continuous ecosystem. Most of what lives inside it has never been directly studied by a scientist in the field. What has been documented by researchers, by park rangers, by the indigenous communities who've lived alongside these animals for generations is enough to build a real evidence-based list of the creatures worth understanding before you ever set foot on that riverbank. Not the exaggerated ones, not the myths, the real threats ranked by what has actually been recorded, day until the end. Because the deadliest creature hiding in the Amazon is not what most people expect, and it might already be closer to you than any of the animals on this list. Here is where the countdown begins. Number 13, the Giant Anteater. It looks slow, it looks almost gentle, ambling along the forest floor with that long, tapered snout dragging low to the ground, seemingly built for nothing more threatening than digging into an insect mound. But researchers who study wildlife, attack cases in South America, have documented something that giant anteater's reputation doesn't prepare you for when cornered or threatened. This animal rears up on its hind legs, using its thick tail for balance, and strikes downward with its front claws, each one nearly 4 inches long and curved like a hook. Those claws are built for tearing into rock, hard termite mounds that would break a human hand. On a living body, they do the same kind of damage, and the anteater's grip, once it wraps its powerful forelimbs around a threat, is strong enough that victims have struggled to break free. There are documented cases of fatal maulings, rare but real, usually involving hunters who cornered the animal at close range in dense brush with no room to retreat. What remains unclear is how often near misses go unreported in more remote parts of the basin, where injuries from wildlife rarely make it into any formal record at all. The lesson locals repeat is simple. Distance is the only real defense, because an anteater that feels trapped stops being gentle almost instantly. That wasn't the only place in this jungle where appearances are deceiving. Number 12, the bullet ant. This is an insect, barely an inch long, and it holds the top rating on entomologist Justin Schmidt's own pain index, the highest score he ever recorded for any sting. Schmidt described it as feeling like walking across flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail already in your heel. The pain doesn't fade in minutes. By most accounts, it can last 12 to 24 hours, with waves of trembling and temporary loss of muscle control in the area around the sting. Some indigenous communities in the region have turned this into a rite of passage, weaving live bullet ants into gloves that initiates wear for minutes at a time. The ants themselves aren't aggressive by nature. They only sting when their nest is disturbed. But disturb one, and the forest makes sure you remember it. Further into the undergrowth, the danger gets smaller, and in some cases more colorful. Number 11, the poison dart frog. Barely the size of a thumbnail and often finished in colors so bright they look artificial electric blue, blazing yellow, deep red. That coloring isn't decoration, it is a warning. Several species in this family carry batrachotoxin, a compound potent enough that indigenous hunters have used it for generations to coat the tips of blowgun darts, which is exactly where the frog's name comes from. Researchers have yet to reach a consensus on why the frogs produce such powerful toxins in the wild versus captivity. The leading theory ties it to compounds absorbed from the specific insects they eat. Take that diet away, and over generations in captivity, the toxicity fades. In the wild, though, that toxin stays fully active. A reminder that the most dangerous things in this jungle aren't always the biggest. The trail didn't end there. It went straight into the leaf litter. Number 10, the Brazilian wandering spider. Unlike most spiders, this one doesn't wait in a web. It hunts actively across the forest floor at night. which is how it earned its name and how it ends up in unexpected places: boots, banana crates, the corners of houses near the forest edge. Its venom is neurotoxic, and in significant bites, it can cause intense pain, breathing difficulty, and in men, a specific and well-documented side effect involving prolonged, painful erections, a symptom researchers have studied seriously enough that a compound from the venom has actually been investigated for erectile dysfunction treatment. Anti-venom exists and has dramatically cut fatality rates where it is available. But in more remote parts of the basin, medical help can be hours or days away, and that gap is where this spider's reputation comes from. A separate account from a different part of the river system entirely is almost as unsettling for a completely different reason. Number 9. The Candiru. This one is small, a few inches translucent, almost invisible in murky water, and its reputation has taken on a life of its own online. Most of it exaggerated well past what is actually documented. What is real, and still confirmed by researchers who study Amazonian catfish, is narrower than the legend, but just as unsettling in its own way. The Candiru is a parasitic species that detects the ammonia gradient released through the gills of larger fish, follows it directly to the source, and swims into the gill opening to feed on blood, using tiny recurved spines along its body to lodge itself in place. Once it is inside, spines sharp enough that removal, even for a fish, is rarely simple. The infamous stories about it targeting human bathers, following urine streams into the body, have almost no confirmed medical cases behind them, despite generations of circulation. And most researchers who've actually reviewed the claims treat those specific accounts as folklore rather than fact. What is confirmed is unsettling enough on its own, a fish that evolved over millions of years to detect another living creature from a distance, swim directly into it, anchor itself with barbs, and feed from the inside out. The exaggeration isn't what makes this animal disturbing. The real documented biology already does that without any help, but that is only the beginning of what is actually hunting beneath the surface. Number 8. The Red-Bellied Piranha. A single piranha alone isn't much of a threat. Its bite is sharp but survivable, and most encounters end with nothing worse than a scare. The danger is in the number. In a large coordinated feeding event, usually triggered by blood, distress splashing, or low water levels concentrating a lot of fish into a small space, a group can strip flesh from a carcass in minutes. Documented attacks on humans are rare and almost always tied to those specific conditions: shallow water, an existing wound, and a school large enough to trigger a feeding frenzy. Local fishers who work these waters every day treat piranha with respect, not fear. They know exactly which conditions to avoid, and they know the difference between a nuisance nibble and something far worse. What came next changed the shape of the danger completely. From teeth to something the human body can't even feel coming. Number 7. The Electric Eel. Not actually an eel at all, but a knife fish capable of generating a discharge researchers have measured at up to roughly 600 volts, enough in a sustained or repeated series of shocks to cause a person to lose muscle control in the water, and in rare documented cases to drown as a result. The eel uses lower voltage pulses constantly, almost like sonar, to sense its surroundings in murky water, and reserves the full power discharge for hunting prey or defending itself. What makes this animal quietly more dangerous than its reputation suggests is exactly that gap between defense and offense. A threatened electric eel doesn't need to bite or strike, it only needs to be touched. 6 entries in, and the list starts to shift from things that hurt you to things that can end you outright. Number 6. The Bushmaster Snake. The largest venomous snake in the Western Hemisphere, and by most accounts the most feared snake in the entire Amazon basin. Not because it is aggressive, but because of what happens if it strikes. Its venom is hemotoxic, meaning it attacks blood and tissue directly, and without prompt anti-venom, bite survivors have reported severe, lasting damage even after recovery. The Bushmaster is also an ambush predator, which means it doesn't retreat from approaching footsteps the way many snakes do. It holds still, relying on camouflage against the leaf litter, which is exactly how so many bites happen in the first place. Investigators who study snakebite cases in the region consistently point to the same pattern. It isn't the snakes people see that cause the most damage. It is the ones they never noticed until it was too late. Miles from where the story began, in open, faster water, an entirely different kind of predator moves in. Number 5. The bull shark. Most people picture sharks as strictly ocean animals, but the bull shark has a rare physiological ability. It can tolerate fresh water for extended periods and has been documented well over 2,000 miles up the Amazon River system, far from any coastline. It is considered one of the most dangerous shark species to humans, specifically because of that range and because of documented aggression in shallow, murky water, where visibility is poor and mistaken identity is more likely. Researchers studying bull shark movement have flagged this freshwater adaptability as one of the more genuinely surprising findings in the species' behavior. Proof that ocean predator and jungle river aren't the separate categories most people assume. That is when a second, larger reptile enters the story, one that has been waiting, mostly submerged, the entire time. Number 4, the Black Caiman. The largest predator in the entire Amazon River system, with confirmed lengths regularly exceeding 13 feet and some documented individuals pushing past 16, a size that puts it firmly in the same conversation as the largest crocodilians anywhere on Earth. Unlike the smaller caiman species sharing these waters, which rarely pose a real threat to an adult, the Black Caiman is a confirmed, if infrequent, threat to fully grown humans. Attacks have been documented across the basin, usually at night, when the animal is most active and visibility along the riverbank is at its absolute worst. What makes the Black Caiman especially formidable isn't raw size alone. It is the ambush, nearly the entire body submerged, only the eyes and nostrils breaking the surface, patient for as long as it takes, sometimes holding that same position for hours while prey moves closer without ever noticing. Once it strikes, the caiman relies on a bite grip strong enough to hold and drag. Rather than a chase, there is no second attempt needed, because there is rarely an opportunity for one. Wildlife researchers who track apex predators across the basin consistently rank the Black Caiman near the very top of the list, and unlike several entries already covered, this is a reputation earned through direct observation, not exaggeration passed down through folklore. But there is one predator in these waters that consistently overshadows even the caiman because of its size and because of how little warning it gives. Number 3, the Green Anaconda, the heaviest snake on Earth and among the longest, with confirmed specimens stretching past 20 feet and weighing several hundred pounds. It is not venomous. It doesn't need to be. The anaconda kills through constriction, tightening its coils with each exhale its prey takes until circulation stops entirely. Documented human fatalities are genuinely rare. This is not an animal that actively hunts people the way its film reputation suggests, but researchers who study large constrictors have confirmed cases involving smaller adults and children, almost always near water, where the anaconda hunts most effectively, submerged and nearly invisible until it is already too close. The gap between the anaconda's real documented danger and its exaggerated mythology is enormous, but what is real is still more than enough to earn its place this high on the list. 2 entries remain, and both of them completely reframe what deadliest even means in this jungle. Number 2, the Jaguar. The largest cat in the Western Hemisphere and the apex land predator of the entire Amazon basin, with a bite force researchers have measured as strong, pound for pound, as any big cat alive, strong enough to pierce turtle shells and crush the skulls of prey outright rather than suffocating them the way lions and tigers typically do. Jaguars are ambush hunters, and unlike lions, they don't rely on stamina in a chase. They rely on getting close enough undetected that the fight is already over before it starts. Confirmed attacks on humans are uncommon. Jaguars generally avoid people, but wildlife biologists tracking the species have documented enough cases, particularly involving hunters and researchers working alone deep in jaguar territory, To confirm this is not a myth built on exaggeration. It is the real, working apex predator this jungle was built around. And that would be the obvious way to end this list. The biggest cat, the strongest bite, the top of the food chain. Except it isn't, because the single deadliest creature hiding in this jungle isn't a predator with claws or venom or teeth at all. Number 1, the mosquito. Specifically, the Anopheles mosquito and the diseases it carries, malaria above all, alongside dengue and yellow fever in different pockets of the basin. According to public health researchers who track disease burden worldwide, mosquito-borne illness is responsible for more human deaths globally year after year than every large predator on this entire list combined, by an enormous margin, and the Amazon basin remains one of the regions where that risk is highest. There is no ambush here, no ferocity, nothing that looks dangerous at all. Just an insect a few millimeters long, landing silently, doing its damage over hours and days instead of seconds. Every other animal on this list announces itself in some way, a splash, a strike, a warning color. The mosquito is the only one that never does. And that, more than anything else in this jungle, is exactly why it is. Number 1. 13 animals, and not one of them fits the picture most people carry into this jungle before they've actually looked closely. The ones with teeth and venom earn their reputation, honestly. The caiman, the anaconda, the jaguar are all real documented threats, confirmed by researchers who've spent careers studying them, not exaggerated folklore passed down secondhand. Even the smaller, stranger entries on this list, the frog no bigger than a thumbnail, the fish that swims into gills instead of away from them, turned out to be more dangerous or more misunderstood than their size would ever suggest. But the deadliest thing hiding in the Amazon was never the one with the loudest reputation, the sharpest teeth, or the most viral story attached to it. It was the one nobody bothers to be afraid of. The one that doesn't look like a threat at all, doesn't announce itself, and doesn't need to. That gap between what actually kills and what merely looks like it could might be the single most important thing this list reveals about the jungle, and maybe about danger in general. If you had to guess before this list started, which one would you have put at the top? Whatever your answer was, the real one is probably still landing on your arm right now, and you'd never even feel it.